What is the feedback on the documentary so far in all the countries that it has been screened?
The feedback has been absolutely incredible. We never thought, and that's real, we never thought that the film would get the attention that it got, the awards that it's getting, and also the reaction that is making the audience feel. Because we knew when we did the film, we knew we had something emotional on our hands, but we thought that would be emotional mostly to the people that lived that time, you know, that met them, that knew them, or that lived the 70s, around, you know, the era. Because then would be like a nostalgia of, you know, that period of time and how life was at the time and how creative things could be at the time, and people were creating and were, you know, being true to themselves and you know, believing in art and living in community, and, you know, so many things were going on at the time. So we knew that would be emotional for that specifically kind of audience. But we didn't know how the young audience would react. You know, maybe they would not care about it, maybe they would think, oh, that's too much. But no, it was the other way around. I mean, the people that lived that time get really emotional, of course. They knew them or heard about them and they get really emotional. But the young generation is crazy about the film. Like, first time we showed, the film was in Rio de Janeiro Film Festival in October of 2009. And the first day, the first screening was insane. It was packed. The Odeon Cinema, which is a big cinema in the center of Rio de Janeiro, like 600 seats or something. Completely packed, and people were crying nonstop and like applauding. It was absolutely insane. And then the second day we were like, oh, okay, but that's the first screening. We had friends here as well and people that knew them as well, and they were there, so okay, that's an emotional moment, okay. Then we came back for the second screening. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, or I think it was a Tuesday or something, you know, like during the week, 2 p.m. or something. So we were like, oh, that screening, you know, it's during the afternoon and a weekday, it's not going to be the same. And no, they were completely packed, basically, and there were a lot of young people coming with schools, you know, like school were bringing, like their teacher maybe knew them and got interested in bringing the class. So we had 2 different classes of public schools in Rio de Janeiro. There are people that are poor, they don't usually go to cinemas, and they went there to that 2 o'clock session, and we were there, we were like, oh my God, you know, they're too young, they're 14, 13, 12 years old, you know, we were afraid they would be too strong, they would be too much, they would not understand, and at the end, they were absolutely in love with the Dzi Croquettes. They were saying that they're the new generation, that their generation was the Purpurina, and they are the generation glitter, because they are the Dzi Croquettes 2000. You know, they were completely in love with the story of the group. That moment, on that 2 p.m. Screening, that moment we understood. We said, okay, now we see that the film really touches people, independently of age, background, or class, or even it's not only a film for the artistic communion, it's a film for everyone. And that has been repeating, and then we end up winning Best Documentary Public Audience Award and Jury Award in Rio. And then again, and then the next one was São Paulo, Mostra Internacional de São Paulo, which happened the same thing. We won Audience Award and we won Jury Award. And that has been repeating so many, every time actually. Not only in awards, now, thank God, we got 13 awards of Best Film, international as well. We got Best Film in Torino, in San Francisco, in London, in Miami, as well, Brazil. But also, which make us now the most awarded documentary in Brazilian history. So never a documentary won so many awards as Dzi Croquettes has at the moment. So we are so proud of that and happy and thankful for that as well. But we could see now that the film is traveling, because okay, in Brazil you understand that everybody knows Marília Pêra, Nelson Motta, Cláudia Raia, Miguel Falabella, Pedro Cardoso, Miele, Alco Maravilha, so on and so forth. But abroad, nobody knows those people, you know, they don't mean anything. They're just people. They're not stars, or they don't have artistic importance for who is watching the film in maybe San Francisco or even in Sicily in Italy. We showed the film in a festival on a tiny island in the middle of the Sicily that we had to take 2 boats to go there. And it's a city that, you know, the public phones dates of 1959. So everything is very old, and they kept, it's almost like they stop in time, you know, it's the kind of mafia island. And we were afraid of showing the film there. And again, the reaction was amazing. They really get touched by it. They really are amazed to discover that Brazil had a dictatorship. Usually nobody knows about it abroad. So we could, you know, show the film in Paris, show the film in Italy, show the film in London, show the film in the United States, now in Canada. And people react almost the same way. They're like so amazed, first of all, to discover so many things about Brazil that they didn't know, and to see how talented they were, how special those, you know, that group was, and to discover that story. And they get emotional. They go, you know, it's a journey. Like it's a roller coaster. You laugh, you cry. You know, it makes the audience go in so many places, and especially to think about what they are doing with their life. I think that's a comment that we hear more often when we finish the screening, after every screening. It's people saying, oh my God, you know, I wish I was born at the time, or I wish I had lived at that period of time, because we could create so much, we could, you know, be so creative and do stuff and live life at their fullest. And now everyone is so close to themselves on the internet. They are so, you know, alone, and we don't create as before anymore. We don't have anything to fight for. So we hear that a lot from young people and for the older generation as well.